Well, good morning, friends. Recording this at Autumn Cottage on July the 25th. Beautiful summer morning here. In fact, we are being warned that we might be in for a record-breaking day of the hottest temperatures ever recorded in the UK. So I thought I'd just give you a little visit around the garden while the temperatures are not too high. I'm going to just pop up here and show you that our two resident pheasants are having their breakfast. I don't know whether he's coming back. You'll have to forgive the background noise. It's around about 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's on their way to work. So the cars are passing and there is a little bit of background noise from the Newbury bypass. Much noisier than usual actually. But I think we can tolerate that. Just wanted to wander around a little bit and show you what's coming on while it's still cool enough, and I might revisit again later in the day. Now the first thing I wanted to show you is what we've got growing here in the middle of this bed. I planted up a trough here with some of the most vulgar colours you can possibly come across, but it's surprising in the hot weather just how cheerful they look. That's just 3 geraniums and several plants of nasturtium that I grew from seed. I think that's really quite successful. It looks very jolly during the day when the sun's beating down. And just come back and quietly have a look at him and her. He usually stands in the garden making big squawks first thing in the morning so that I know that he hasn't been fed. So I'm just going to take a wander down to the pond now. I'll see you there in a minute. Well, I've actually arrived in the little bit of garden above the pond by means of walking through the flower bed, because I think you can probably hear Mrs. Hen Fezzy squeaking at me, or particularly she's squeaking at Pip, who's following behind me. Let's just take a slow stroll down to the pond. He might be happier if he can't see me, though I think it's probably Pip he's getting very upset about. Sophia is almost surrounded by this hydrangea arborescens, which is beautiful at the moment with its big heads of white flowers. And the biggest pom-poms at the back are those of hydrangea Annabelle. Just going to go into the summer house now. If I can manage not to trip over the edging. Let's go and sit down and have a little chat. I'm in my favourite place of all now. I'm sitting in the summer house, looking out on the pond, which most of the day is a very, very peaceful place to be. I try not to say too much about the political situation here or across the rest of the planet, because I like these little visits to Autumn Cottage to be a place where you can come and find a little bit of peace and rest. I'm not going to discuss particular political parties. Anybody that knows me and that sees my posts on Facebook will know how I feel politically, but all I want to say is that at the moment my poor country is severely divided. This is not a happy place to be at the moment, and the various choices that have been made are causing great distress to very many people. It's affecting people's mental health. And when I feel severely under stress, there's one step that I do regularly take, which is exactly what I'm doing at the moment. I am sitting in the summer house, looking out on the pond. In fact, what I'm doing is taking myself into the heart of Mother Nature. I take myself away from the world of men and women for a few minutes, or perhaps a few hours. I find consolation in nature. The greatest thing that I find is I find healing in the heart of Mother Nature. The natural world of which we are a part. We're not something separate from the natural world, we are part of it. But the greater part of the natural world has an immense ability to heal both our bodies and our minds, which again are not separate. We just allow ourselves to sit, not think about what human beings are doing to each other, just for a short while to not think about it, and just look at the bigger picture. Believe in the process, friends. Healing does come. Even if that healing is only temporary, it can restore your balance to get through a day. And if you do it frequently and regularly enough, the healing does become more permanent. It gives you a different perspective. In my case, it allows me to see that human beings are not the centre of the universe, but only part of it. And in order to live in this world, we have to work with the rest of the natural world, not seek to dominate it. Over many thousands of years, that has been tried. And as I think you may be able to observe for yourselves, it has failed. So let's just try soaking ourselves in the healing balm of the natural world and working together rather than opposition with it. I do think it's worth a try. Just going to take a little walk back up now. Just want to show you a few more of the flowers. The reason that the white seat is now here instead of underneath the apple tree is that Alec has a new seat under the tree. He was a birthday boy on the weekend, so he has a seat that's more sturdy, doesn't have such flimsy legs, and he's not sinking into the ground. You can see that Madame is through the arch and sitting on the lounger. She's had her breakfast. I'll leave you in peace. I notice that Mr. Fezzi has actually disappeared already down under the hedge. Actually, on the way to the vegetable garden, I'll just swing round and show you what's flourishing here at the moment. You can see an awful lot of verbascum there. The roses in that flower bed have gone over now, but we're getting all the lovely, more autumnal colours here. The potentilla has already lost all its yellow flowers and is now covered in those beautiful red berries. Just going to go a little closer here, because although the rose is here, this is Rosa New Dawn. Although the roses are going over, the very pretty little clematis A12 rose is still flowering its heart away there. Let me just try and take you in. It's such a pretty flower and looks very good alongside this black elder, Sambucus niger. Altogether, the rose, the clematis and the elder have been very beautiful. Down here we have some Gaillardias, and you can see the heleniums are just opening. See these lovely caramel colours. Aren't they just beautiful? And just come back and see what's growing alongside them. Stipa gigantea. A very, very big grass. We used to have 3 of those in a row, but I found that 3 of them were very overwhelming, and in fact they took up too much space and we couldn't grow anything else. Now we have a small helenium here, just opening. Heleniums can grow very much taller than this. Oh, there's my shadow again. You don't really want to see that. So there are the heleniums. These rudbeckias are just about to open. I really think there's too much shadow to show you this. The sun is still quite low. It's a lovely little thing which Alec discovered a couple of days ago at the local garden centre. It's a little wind spinner, but particularly appropriate for Autumn Cottage. It's made up of oak leaves. Oh, we seem to have somebody coming to keep their eye on me here. What's the matter? It's going to get very hot and you have to stay very cool. So be a sensible boy today, Pippi, please. Yes, I know you're always sensible, particularly when you're asleep. We just carry on looking here. Now you can see that very vulgar but very jolly basin of geraniums there. The hemerocallis, the daylilies, as you can see, some of them are closed up, which means that they've already flowered and gone over. They do flower for just about a day, but if you keep deadheading them, you find that actually they do very well. This one is Hemerocallis Franz Hals. Particularly pretty. 3 yellow, 3 darker red petals and a lovely yellow stripe. Just a little insert here. As I was talking about daylilies, I just wanted to show you this one, which is a beautiful deep russet red. It's in fact called Sammy Russell. And this is really abundant with flower, but even here we need some deadheading. Daylilies really are the way to go at this time of the year. They fill the garden with absolute abundance of colour and prolific flowering. Go look for some daylilies, friends. While I'm passing, I'll just show you the new chairs for the master of the house. Very comfortable. I think Alec likes them. Okay, we're in the vegetable garden now. It's actually flourishing. A little better than it was a few weeks ago when most of the beds were empty or only just filled. We've got some globe artichokes coming up here. I'm not too sure how well these are going to do, because the plantlets were sent very late in the season, so we've popped them in. A little bit of weeding to do around them. They're doing quite well, but I'm not sure they'll give us any actual globes this year. What we'll do if they don't is just cover them, we'll cloche them and treat them as perennials. Now, one of the boxes here I'm using as a temporary plant store. I've just got so many plants that I've propagated. Doing very well, but I run out of space. So they're in here under some temporary shading. Not sure whether it's terribly good, but it's giving them a chance. The rhubarb has popped up again. That benefited greatly from a weeding and a watering. It doesn't everything. We've got some lovely chard here that's doing really quite well now. I didn't think it was going to do well at all. That is Alec's old garden bench, which was in serious need of repair, so we repaired it and brought it in here so that it would see many more another days rather than just one. And it's really a lovely place to sit and just look at the vegetables, which are just as much a joy to watch and look at as the flowers in the garden. Just going to show you this lovely light coming through here. Look at this. Isn't it lovely, the light just filtering through the beans. Early morning sun. And if we just come round, see lots more beans up there. This is an old variety of bean called Painted Lady. It does have very pretty flowers. You see those red and white flowers. But more importantly, we do also have lots of beans on here now. I just really need to go around to the other side to show you the beans. Here we are on the other side of the plant. There's the lovely flowers, and further down, thank you to all the beautiful bees that have been visiting our garden. Lo and behold, we have little baby beans starting. I think we'll be able to eat some of those in a week or so, and that is a joy and a delight. I could just sit down and eat plates of beans with nothing else. A little bit of butter. These monsters are actually Jerusalem artichokes. They're well above my head now. We won't harvest any of those until the autumn and the winter. In fact, we may not even harvest them this winter. They're just about to flower. There'll be big yellow flowers on top of there. Just like a little look out across the field. There we are. That's the field that's right next door to us. We sometimes have the beautiful horses in here, sometimes we have sheep. This morning we just have creatures I can't see, but they'll be there. Oh, the bees are already visiting. Popping into some of the blackberries there. Thank you, bees. Thank you for doing your work. Off it goes. If the weather's going to be as hot as it's forecast today, they are going to be out in force. To show you a little something else here. You hear a lot about bug hotels these days. This is our bug hotel. This is just a lovely log pile. Different trees that have been taken down. But I should imagine that's a thriving home for lots of mini creatures. And one of the most important things in the garden, the water butt. So, because I fill lots and lots of watering cans with that, there is another seat. My mother-in-law used to say any fool can be uncomfortable, and she's quite right. So if I've got to do lots of jobs, I have seats all around the garden so I can be comfortable while I'm waiting for watering cans to fill. That's an echinops that was just sitting around in a pot and actually rooted itself alongside the chair. Doing very well now, and again, one of those plants absolutely adored by the bees, so I've just left it to flower there. And the bees and I share the seating area and sunbathe together. So there we are, friends, just a little stroll around the garden. Just sitting down in the shade and enjoying the early morning before the heat of the day really hits us. Think about my suggestions, friends. If everything gets too much for you, find a green space, hopefully a peaceful, quiet green space, and just let Mother Nature work her magic on you. Try it even before you believe it. I think you'll find it works. That's it for now. See you later.